So I have to communicate in a way that the rebels, those who rebel against God, can understand. And that is everyone else. They're outside the divine order. So before I talk about determination and how it's so obvious, it can be summed up in a very short story in the Hagakure, right? The Hag A cures the E. The E cannot take on an attractive female who's truly related to the alpha and truly be cured. That's ill-gotten gains. Ill-gotten gains does not cure someone whose complex and problem is based in ill-gotten gains. Their fixation and their desire to quote-unquote prosper using ill-gotten gains. Cheaters never pro-spar. They never prosper. Okay. So in the last video I talked about people who are misled. They misunderstand. Right? And girl, gear L, right? Everyone knows training wheels, a little pink bike, and a helmet. If you're doing martial arts and you're not using true gear that reflects loyalty to Pharaoh, you may as well be dressed in a pink thong, riding a pink bike with training wheels, with a pink little helmet. You know. So let's talk about determination. When the men close to our Lord were stationed at various posts, I was sent to the reserves far away from the Lord. I went to the commander and said, I will not accept an assignment that places me far away from my Lord. You can charge me with insubordination or order me to commit seppuku, but I will not relent. The officers looked over the matter and changed my post. A warrior who is not determined is no warrior at all. Okay, and obviously, when you look at determination, right, he's a warrior of evil if he's determined to be evil. It goes without saying. The only way to be good is to serve Pharaoh, is to obey. It's a great injustice to disobey the top martial artist, especially when the difference between him and the next man is so fucking great. Infinity perhaps doesn't cover it. So we look at this. Why am I reading a book that is associated with perhaps karate and bushido? Okay, it's ironically this guy in the back. Okay, he was in the Marines. Okay. And ultimately, I'm wearing a Chinese Kung Fu gi. Okay. Well, because I represent the core truths in every martial arts system and every warrior system on the planet. What are you fighting for? Why are you willing to risk your life? If you don't ask yourself this and you join a military, you're an idiot. You're just a dumbass. Your opinion shouldn't be considered. I go as far as to say, if you don't obey me, your opinion shouldn't be considered, because it's a walk in the park to get there, to go from there to the top martial artist, obey the top martial artist and who he should be and why. I go as far as to say people at her age should get it. You are acting more like a Girl Scout than a martial artist when you don't obey. The determination to obey. The determination to not listen to rape calls when they tell you, wait for the time. You're letting a church that has been riding goat dick forever tell you to wait for the time and not God's representative. So you're listening to the devil about waiting for a time that certainly works in the devil's favor. Lucifer is a deity of rape cult bitches. Okay? He is the prince of darkness who's a gentleman. He's going to have, the people that serve him are going to have nice clothes, nice cars, cool little haircuts. Okay? They're going to have, quite often, going to have very handsome faces, a handsome devil. Imagine what kind of stupid bitch prefers a handsome devil. These bitches who pretend to rebel against their parents. How are you rebelling against your parents when their tradition is to get you into the Greco-Roman rape cult tradition? It's been like that for thousands of years. You're basically a rape cult stupid bitch who's been serving them every step of the way of your entire life. Obviously this kind of filth is far beneath me. But obviously they should obey me, and they have no excuse. Being far beneath me is no excuse to not obey me. How much more do you need to obey me? When you don't obey, you are in the O of the baby, the reproductive cycle of the O that's a baby. Babylon, baby, lie, and just other scum. It is sad to see people sink to such a despicable level. Again, the Egyptians said the heart was the seat of intelligence. You have right here the heart of a warrior. Of course, this is red, black, and white, which does reflect a degree of dishonesty. But certainly, as I tell you the truth, you see the correction. I correct it. I am the core, raw, and I am correcting their arguments. in a way that little children should already know is true. Think about it. There is nothing anywhere that would convince you that what I'm saying isn't what people should do. And you better believe people will act like bitches. They will take on variations of childish presentations and forms. If someone was to act like a man-child in this society, what would they do? They would act like a bitch and they'd get rich. That's one of the main things they try to do, period. That's perhaps the pinnacle of immaturity. Focusing on money. Focusing on shiny objects instead of the principles of manhood, right? There's the principles and there's the image. Just like in martial arts. You're an actor with a thong on or you're living by the principles. Okay? There's no in between. Even if you're a UFC fighter, you're an actor. And you're wearing some gay ass shit. It has been designed by homosexuals. Fuck do you call that? And some liberal media has promoted you. You think it's because they don't want to look at you with your ass? Look at your ass with what you're wearing? Of course it is. You're either an actor or you're a real fucking man. You're either an actor or you're a real martial artist. There's no other way. Not in this time. There was a time perhaps you could have been a craftsman and have some semblance of dignity, and be in the martial art order. But in this day and age, no one obeys me. So if you're going to obey me, you have to start forming into a martial artist because everybody is waging war against me and they are screening me out in a way that is so despicable that they have overkill to such an extreme that your children will never be right with God ever. They have overkilled it by killing the only person who overstands. The only person that gets it. When you get it, you behave like you get it. How could it be any other way? Even the Bible, it says, declare the glory of God from the roofs. It says, don't put a lamp, don't light a lamp and put it under a bed. I've gone over these things many times. There isn't a single attractive woman that would obey me in the entire world. Okay? What the fuck do you call that? Call that good judgment? It's stupid. I live in the country with the most martial arts schools, it said, than any country in the world. And there's not a single person that would obey me, and there's especially not a single attractive woman that would obey me. The fuck do you call that? How the fuck do you miss the point? How the fuck do you miss the point? Even in popular culture, you have Prince Charming and King Richard. All these are bitches I'd kill in a split second. The fuck God chose you? How did God choose you and you're wearing a sword and you wouldn't last a second in single combat against me naturally? The fuck are you the King of Kings? You're a liar, a thief, a serpent. Doesn't take a genius to see that. They overkill that point when they wear a sword. The sword represents divinely being chosen. And there's countless examples of single combat, even in their Bible with David and Goliath. It doesn't take a genius to see they're full of shit. Even in Star Wars, right? Luke and Darth Vader, single combat. It's all over the place. Jousting, what is that? A bunch of bitches with technology feeling like they're important from some kind of rape cult, night culture. That's why it's called night, darkness and night, right? The children of chaos in Ananke and in Greco-Roman mythology. Look it up. Utter garbage. The Greek and Roman deities are utter rape cult bitch. Okay? It doesn't take a genius to see you live in a culture where these same principles are propounded. You don't have to bring up that these people are bitches, but you have to bring up that the people ruling over you are bitches, and you have to defy them, or you're a bitch too. And fuck, you may as well be holding down a baby to get plugged in the ass if you don't stop at nothing to defy them. How could it be any other way? Like, well, I threw a piece of paper at them and said, please stop. Oh yeah, that's honor. I'm controlled opposition, and I kind of touch on what's going on. It's bullshit. There's a long history of controlled opposition helping them, and all we see everywhere is them helping them. It's fucking stupid not to see it my way. It's just insane not to see that I'm right. Insane. Western culture is rape cult culture. The American spirit is a rape cult energy, void of any spirit of God. How could it be? It's a secular fucking nation. You have half of America at least screaming that there's a rape cult culture talking about Me Too. Is it getting effectively addressed? Are you fucking kidding me? Throwing some rich people to the wolves for good measure and cracking down on the poor? Oh yeah, we're addressing this privileged rape cult with impunity culture. It's fucking stupid. You haven't come up with a viable counter argument for the rape culture, just utter garbage. Well, sometimes women accuse men of rape when they didn't do it. That's stupid. That's like saying, no, sometimes people say that a gang member shot at them when he didn't, so gang members never do drive-bys. If this logic holds no weight, just get them out of here. They make this kind of white privilege argument, they should be killed immediately. The fuck do you think? Anybody who makes it, I don't care if it's a house nigga, I'm making it for him. Smoke him in too. They're stupid. He's evil. It's fucking retarded not to see it that way. People have no fucking honor whatsoever, and then stupid fucks emulate them. That is America in a nutshell. That's the world in a nutshell. I'm the only one who's going out of his way to address this thing effectively and say, this is the truth, this is the divine order. I don't care what anyone's saying anywhere else. If they're not saying obey me, why they obey me themselves, certainly they're on some bitch shit. How could they not be? How could they not be? The only way to do right is to try to restore the actual divine order. How many times have I gone over this? Who listens to who and why? Why didn't they naturally find their way to me? Fucking animals naturally find their way to water. If you're really of God, how come you didn't naturally find your way to me?